static between stations. The room was old enough to have belonged in a Dashiell Hammett novel. Under the layers of paint, you could still make out the moldings. Vintage, 1930s at least, never restored, just painted over until the details went soft at the edges. This room had probably seen more tube radios than televisions or computers. I'd bought it on a whim from Gert downstairs. Gert's Pawn and Loan occupied the ground floor, and I occupied the suite above it. The radio was a nice old shortwave set, vacuum tubes, fancy wooden case, and it weighed like an iron block, a status symbol once. The kind of thing that sat in a good living room and meant something. Scuffed up now, but Gert said it worked. That made me think of me, so I brought it upstairs. It was nice not to be the oldest thing in the apartment. I set it on the table beside the kitchen window, and it sat there like the room had been waiting for that particular Philco 39-30 receiver to come home for a long time. I hadn't bothered with an antenna. These sets needed a long wire, 50 feet at least, strung out a window or across a roof. But I figured I'd turn it on and see what I got. Probably nothing. Probably just the sound of a room being quiet in a different way. A few nights later, I came home from what I'd started thinking of as my old man's day. I'd stopped by the precinct, the way I still did sometimes. I'm remembered there, which is its own particular kind of thing. I could feel it the moment I walked in. Welcome guest, outside looking in. Hey, nice of you to come by, and wow, 34 years, that's something. And then people had work to get back to. One of the younger ones mentioned computers, like the job had only properly begun once everything was digital. I smiled and took my coat and left. On my way out, I stopped at the notice board, the way I always had. 34 years of leaving and arriving, and I'd looked at that board every single time. Old habit. Missing persons, wanted sheets. One posting had only gone up Thursday. Shelley Majores, missing since Wednesday night. Fresh. Her face looked back at me, and I took that with me when I went. The suite above Gert's wasn't much to come home to, but it was mine. I pulled a bottle of beer from the fridge. Cans were cheaper, but I preferred bottles. I liked the cool glass on my lips instead of the sharp metal edge of a can. Small dignities. I threw a frozen dinner in the microwave, Mina's cheese patty meal, and turned to the radio while I waited for the ding. Tubes were warming up, the Philco humming softly, the resiny smell of old electronics competing with what passed for aroma from the scented chemicals in Mina's offering. The beer was going to be better than the meal, I could tell. One of these days, I was just going to switch to a barley sandwich diet and be done with it. I turned the volume knob. Heavy bakelite, satisfying in the hand, and untuned static filled the room, howls and whistles as the radio dealt with the absence of an antenna. I backed it down and tried the tuning knob, watched the small red bar slide along the frequencies behind the illuminated glass panel. The whistles chattered and buzzed, all the electronic noise of the neighborhood. A car went by outside, and its 6 spark plugs modulated the static like a drum machine. There was a band selector switch, one mechanical clunk, and the sound changed completely. The roar dropped, and the static turned quieter, strange harmonics murmuring. I worked the tuning knob. Even without an antenna, the radio was finding signals. It must have been a good set. Back in the days when the family sat after supper and listened to The Adventures of Sam Spade, I was half into my beer, the cheese patty going cold, when a voice came out of the static with a clarity that made me set the bottle down. Shelley is in the ditch beside the garbage cans behind Cosber's hauling. That was too specific. There was a Cosber's hauling, a yard out on the east side, and there was a Shelley Majoris, her face fresh from that notice board not 2 hours ago. What the hell? I went the next morning, told myself I was just driving by, but I parked 2 blocks away and walked the rest. The ditch behind Casber's was choked with garbage bags. I almost missed it. I called Bernie from the street. Yeah, it's me. I think I found Shelley Majoris. I said I'd smelled something, which is a thing you can say cop to cop without a lot of follow-up questions. We all know the smell. He didn't push it. A few weeks later, 2 beers in, a burrito from the grab and get on the corner going soft in its wrapper, the Philco spoke again. Gary committed suicide. Check the garage at 524 Gerald Boulevard. I got my coat. The garage was locked, but there was a window on the side, and from the right angle, you could see the car, and you could see Gary slumped over the wheel. And you didn't need 34 years to know he wasn't sleeping. I called it in. My fingers fumbled on the phone. Numbers too small. I missed real buttons. Phones used to have buttons you could find in the dark. And it wasn't until the dispatcher said, "Stay on the line, sir," I realized I had no story for being in somebody's driveway across town. I stood on the sidewalk and worked it out. From there, the right angle, you could almost see it. Almost. I told the detective who arrived first that something had set off my instincts. He wrote it down. Story held. The third one was a child. Lost, the Philco said, out by the old water tower in the woods off Route 9. I found her before dark, which was the only thing that mattered, and told the detective on scene the same thing I'd told the last one. Cop instinct took a closer look. This detective was younger. She looked at me for a long moment, pen hovering, and said, in a way that meant something else entirely. Wrote it down anyway and didn't say another word to me the whole time I was there. That was 3 months ago. I have a notebook now, kept beside the Philco. It has its own place in the room now. I don't go to the precinct anymore. I'm on my 3rd can of beer, barley sandwiches, and the static is doing what it does. And I know that when the next voice comes through, I won't be able to do anything with it. One more tip, and I'm not a good Samaritan. I'm a person of interest, if I am not already. I haven't said anything since that kid. The red bar sits still on the dial. The tubes glow their quiet amber in the dark. I reach for the tuning knob anyway.